Welcome to the Emperor Dynamite podcast, home of unchained free speech. Unleash your voice.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declaring a public emergency for the first time in the country's history.
Hey there, I'm Emperor Dynamite till he can work out his audio issues. And I'm thrilled to have you join me on this incredible journey as I relaunch my podcast. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1, Voices of Free Speech. In a world where voices are often muffled and opinions are filtered, this podcast stands as a beacon for unfiltered, unapologetic, and unchained free speech. Here, we believe in the power of words and the strength of diverse perspectives. We tackle the pressing news, analyze trending topics, and provide sharp commentary and bold opinions, all without the influence of sponsors or investors. This independence allows us to maintain the purity of free expression, ensuring that our content remains honest, authentic, and untouched by commercial interests. You know, news organizations kind of mess up the difference between just reporting facts and sharing their own opinions. Their main job is to keep us in the loop with straight-up unbiased info, but a lot of them throw in their personal takes, biases, and agendas. This can really twist how people see what's going on, making it tough for everyone to tell what's true and what's just someone's opinion. So, rather than simply reporting the plain facts and allowing the public to decide for themselves, these institutions tend to report news in a manner consistent with their own ideology, sort of guiding public opinion along the way. How do you feel about it? Drop a comment below. The CBC is one prime example, with its tendency toward advancing liberal views. This has been supported in research, which finds CBC news coverage more likely to reflect liberal policy agendas. For instance, the coverage of social issues by CBC tends to reflect left-of-center thinking, and their language and selection of topics can sometimes discourage other viewpoints. Overall, the CBC does spend more time describing the context and rationale behind Trudeau's actions, or downplaying some of the worst aspects of his controversies. On reporting on opposition parties, and particularly the Conservative Party, however, the same critics see that the CBC's reporting is more edgy or critical. Being funded by the public to the tune of $144 billion for 2024 and 2025, the trust in journalism, including that in CBC, has been shaken. According to one recent survey, 49% of Canadians think journalists are trying to mislead people, while 52% think most news organizations are more interested in supporting an ideology or political position than in informing the public. It's part of a broader global decline affecting many institutions. Transparency forms one of the major pillars in creating credibility and a good reputation in any organization. A transparent organization is one that allows free access to information on its activities, decision-making, financial position, among others. Such openness creates room for the stakeholders like customers, employees, investors, and the public to understand what it stands for and how it operates. With an election at any moment and money stretched thin, it is very interesting to me the CBC is getting even more taxpayer dollars. Countering the bias of the CBC is a major reason this podcast was created. If the Canadian government were to reallocate the $144 billion to other priorities, it would be able to tackle issues affecting Canadians more. The money could hire upwards of 14,000 more nurses, cut wait times for surgery, and even expand mental health programs to treat people in crisis. It could also be leveraged to address housing affordability by building 7,000 to 12,000 units of affordable housing or funding shelters and addiction recovery programs for the homeless. Instead of funding a government broadcaster, that money could go to tax relief, giving every Canadian a $35 rebate, or reducing carbon taxes and grocery costs to ease the burden on families who are barely getting by. But seriously, it bugs me that with the CBC's $1.44 billion already being taken off the top annually from taxpayers' pockets, ad-free and full access to its streaming platform, CBC Gem Premium, comes at an added cost of $5 per month to Canadian taxpayers. This truly feels like a classic example of double dipping. Taxpayers fund the CBC via their taxes and are then still asked to pay for a service they've helped finance. If the CBC is already subsidized with public money, Canadians shouldn't have to pay again for access to content created with their money. But that's not all. The CBC is still raking in tens of millions more through advertising on its free TV channels and its streaming platform. So it's not only that taxpayers are funding the CBC directly through their taxes, but also indirectly through the ads they're being subjected to while watching CBC content for free. And when viewers pay the 5-month for ad-free and full access to content, they are essentially paying to remove ads and labeling shows as premium so that the CBC continues to profit from on its free platforms. This model is both unfair and inefficient. The CBC really should not take in all the money from the taxpayers and still rely on commercial ads to gain extra revenues when Canadians must pay a subscription for a good view and to access to all content. Public broadcaster, in this case, means ad-free access to every bit of it without forcing citizenship to pay twice, once with taxes and secondly by subscription. It's time for a big rethink of how the CBC is funded and serves the public interest without exploiting its audience. Free expression is a hallmark of democratic societies, creating an environment in which ideas can be shared, debated, and challenged. It allows people to express themselves, advocate for change, and hold those in power to account. Free expression allows diverse perspectives to flourish, promoting innovation, creativity, and social progress. It acts as a bulwark against tyranny and oppression, preventing any one entity from controlling the narrative. Free expression is essentially indispensable for the health and vibrancy of any society, whereby all citizens can contribute to the democratic process to the fullest and join in the well-being of all citizens. Next episode, we're going to tackle the clown show happening at the Liberal Party as they decide which clown will lead them into the next election. That election could come as early as end of March. The Liberals are getting desperate to hang on to power. Do not miss that episode. I am going to tear into them. Your support means the world to me, and we hope that this conversation has been every bit as interesting to you as it's been to me. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join in on the conversation by sharing your thoughts and ideas with us. Got a topic or question you'd like me to cover? Get in touch with your ideas. I am always looking for something new and interesting. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and keep the conversation going. Thanks for being part of our community. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.